I've been observing of late amongst Indians that Indians tend to over-associate themselves, some Indians at least, tend to over-associate themselves with celebrities' achievements way more than we should. And I'll give you the best example of this. And let's take Chennai itself as an example. How many of you here know who Sundar Pichai is? Please raise your hands. Don't know who Sundar Pichai is? Okay, go home and Google. That'll be a fantastic experience for him. He's going to go home tonight, open his laptop and type in Google, "Hello Google, who is Sundar Pichai?" Who will reply saying, "My daddy." For those of you who still don't know who Sundar Pichai is the CEO of Google. And the day he became the CEO of Google, not only did he become the CEO of Google, he also became every Chennai's distant relative. Until then, we didn't even know he was from our city. That's how shameless we are. You should have seen his Wikipedia page. On the day he became the CEO of Google, in his Wikipedia page, in his bio section, once in half an hour, his school name kept changing. At 11:30, I checked, it said Kendra Vidyalaya. I refreshed. At 12 o'clock, it said Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan. I refreshed. At 12:30, it said Vidyamandira. I only added my school. Fuck you, okay? So point being, according to Wikipedia, Sundar Pichai has studied in 28 schools in 14 years. But I can understand, people are getting excited. Yeah, it's something, someone has achieved something way more than they thought they're capable of. They're happy. But media are supposed to be professional. Media are supposed to report this in an objective way, right? Media were the worst. I remember reading an article from BuzzFeed, which put an article with a headline that said, 20 facts that will shock you about Sundar Pichai. I was like, okay, come on, shock me. Fact number one. Sundar Pichai's father was an electrical engineer from Anna University. Full stop. Where is the shock? Which is the shocking part? The electrical part maybe. Yeah, correct. Fact number 2. Sundar Pichai though was different. Despite doing his civil engineering, he bravely deviated the odds and took up a job in Google. Full stop. Engada shock, eh? He did engineering and took a software job. Like 1 million other South Indians in our country today. This fact would have been shocking if it had read like this, which is, Sundar Pichai though was different. Despite doing his civil engineering, he bravely deviated the odds and went on to become a civil engineer. You would have been like, hey, congratulations, bro. And the worst was the Western media. When Western media started reporting this news, they have this tendency, which is that anytime anyone from a third world country comes and achieves something in a first world country, automatically they believe that man's story must have been a story of rags to riches. Why? Because they've only seen one movie about us, which is Slumdog Millionaire. Exactly. Imagine if we judge them for American Pie. What if we think all Americans will put their dick inside their favorite dessert like that alone? That's not how it works, does it? So Sundar Pichai came from a normal privileged family and his story had no drama. He just worked hard and with his privilege he achieved what he achieved. That's great. But that story can't be reported in America the way it is because the white man reading that and can't consume it. It has to be a sad story. It has to be a really dramatic story, which is why they'll start dramatizing aspects of his life which were never a problem in the first place just to make that story feel more third world. For example, New York Times and Washington Post put articles that day saying Sundar Pichai and 3 other members of his poor upper middle class family. What is a poor upper middle class family? In Chennai we call that posh, okay? They used to live in a cramped 3-bedroom apartment. What is a cramped 3-bedroom apartment? In Bombay they call it a gated community. My point is that we are living in an age of misinformation. We have to check each and every message, the source, the context, and the agenda behind it. When Abdul Kalam died, the next day they declared it a national holiday. You guys remember that? Yes, but my friend, he still went to work. I asked him, dude, Abdul Kalam has died. It's a national holiday. Why are you going to work? And he was like, Macha, in my office, even if I die, they'll ask me to come to work, mark half-day attendance, then go die. Now, I don't like the idea of declaring a holiday when calamities occur. Because when you declare a holiday, that means there's a lot of idle minds. Idle minds equals Devil's Workshop. Correct. Devil's Workshop equals WhatsApp forwards. Exactly. Correct. Because when there's a holiday and there's a lot of idle minds, there's a lot of people who start to take WhatsApp out and start spreading shit on WhatsApp from their own phone with only one goal in their mind. You know what their goal is? They want to see if the shit that they started that morning comes back to them by evening. If they get it back, or the The same thing happened. Abdul Kalam died. The whole country is mourning. But my father had the gall to send me this WhatsApp forward of this pink animated heart emoticon that goes like this, with a text below that said, "This is the heart of Abdul Kalam." This is the heart of Abdul Kalam. He is still alive. Pass this to 50 people in the next 5 minutes, he'll be reborn in Rameshwaram. I was like, what? I called him and said, Daddy, stop. Do not pass this to anybody. Because I was like, first of all, his name is Abdul Kalam. His name is Abdul Kalam. And obviously he doesn't believe in rebirth. Because he's a Muslim, no scientist. What's wrong with you? This is why I said read the agenda context for every single thing. This is what they want you to see. At least that person next to him was like, "Move," but that man was like, "Muslim."